give a perspective this morning on, as a frontline paramedic, on what goes on in comparison of equipment. I want to make it clear that I'm not endorsing any certain type of equipment, but doing the field studies down in Essex County, we've been fortunate enough to have the opportunity to do that. And being a paramedic for the last 18 years, I've seen some big changes. Those that are out there were frontline paramedics in the last 10 years in regards to equipment. Equipment's gotten better, but some of our bags have gotten absolutely heavier. Doug did touch on a lot of stuff I was going to speak on, so as he said this morning, I'm going to try not to cross on some people's discussions later on and what Doug spoke this morning. So I will move on. So, paramedic muscular disorders. MSD description for paramedics is a minor major physical disabilities associated with pain caused by the injury to the muscles, bones, and joints. Examples are neck, shoulders, wrists, back, upper and lower, hips, legs, knees, and feet. We all know out there it's a very difficult job that we're doing. Back injuries were a very common thing for many years. Shoulders are becoming more prevalent now with rotator cuff and other injuries to the shoulder. Knees, hips, sitting in a vehicle for many hours on standbys and standing at the hospitals can be very difficult on paramedics. And basically, standing there is actually lowering our time as hopefully that we can retire and be comfortable doing so. Paramedics are susceptible to MSDs due to the weight, size, and mechanics of equipment and unavoidable awkward lifting of patients. There's many times over the years we've all lifted patients from a home and actually what Doug said, patients are getting larger and it's very difficult to get them out. With the new stretchers and stair chairs, our job is getting easier, but the problem is we still have to go into people's homes and lift them. And I think paramedics overall are not prepared, are getting a little less physical demands on us in regards to the lifting of the stretchers and stuff, but lifting patients out of homes is becoming more difficult. Most common MSDs for paramedics are lower back, shoulder, knees, and wrists. Lower back injuries were the leading cause of MSDs for paramedics, and the problem is due to sitting, lifting, bending, twisting, pulling, long periods of standing. And patient care equipment bag sizes are on the increase both in size, weight due to more delicate medical acts for primary care and advanced care paramedics. Exactly what Doug said. A lot of times now our bags are very, very loaded with equipment. And the Ministry of Health here in Ontario has changed equipment standards, so we're carrying more and more. EMS services in Ontario have various bags, both in size, equipment carried beyond the MOH LTC equipment standards to provide decisive patient care within our communities. 3 common defibrillators that we use out there now in Ontario are the Zoll, Philips, and Physio Control. And they're quite large and they're quite heavy, and most of our stretchers don't have the capability of strapping them to the side anymore or putting them on there because we don't have the room. So we're carrying more and more stuff every day. Defib monitors weigh from anywhere from 10 to 15 kilograms depending on the features. Exactly what Doug said earlier. That LifePak 15 is pretty heavy, and carrying that thing around all day long can be very detrimental to our shoulders. The weights I'm using here are from Essex Windsor, but I'm sure they're very common with everybody else. Our airway bag is 9 kilograms. Our mobilization bag is 5 kilograms. Trauma bag is 3.5 kilograms. Red bag is 11 kilograms, and our tank and regulator is 3.5 kilograms. One thing I did forget to add to this list is that we actually use a mechanical CPR device called Lucas, which is actually quite heavy too. So various services combine bags or have pouches or strapping capabilities on their stretchers. Some of us have the striker with the lower mat below where we can put some of our equipment, a red bag or a defib when you're moving the patient around. You have the pole where you can put your defib on some of them to secure it on there. The implementation of new equipment, hydraulic stretcher, and the power lift and stair chairs has had a positive effect on reducing MSD for paramedics across the province. Essex Windsor EMS has reduced lower back injuries by 50% by changing the fleet over to the new stretcher and power lifting device in the ambulance. That's actually, the stat I was taken from February. The new stat now from last year, it's gone up. It's now 60%. Implementation of policies on lift assist and training on new equipment helps to reduce both the frequency of MSDs and extent of the injury. So the biggest thing is training our people and getting the people that are coming out of the college as new paramedics to have better training at the college level too. As paramedics, we tend to overload our bags with equipment that is not necessary unless all calls for mass casualty incidents, MCIs. Those that know what an MCI is mass casualty. Those that remember the 401 crash, there was 87 vehicles involved in the collision, 47 injuries, and 8 deaths. That's an MCI. And right now, if you look at, we call it red bag, there's so much equipment in there, and paramedics have a tendency to overload their bags, which equipment doesn't need to be there. Paramedics face many challenges that contribute to MSDs. EMS service have some preventable policies and procedures to reduce the possibility of injuries. Some scenarios are outside our perimeters. Injuries may occur, such as environmental, ice on the road, going into a field to pick somebody up, houses, old farmhouses, the stairs, very difficult. Patient size, extrication, crawling into a vehicle that's flipped over and trying to get a patient out. Urgency to CTAS level. So you can see newer paramedics trying to rush a person to the hospital without taking the time to do things properly. Equipment and allied resources. Sometimes it's difficult in the rural areas to get allied resources to assist us in transporting patients, loading them, getting them to the hospital. Proper use of equipment with training and EMS services purchasing more ergonomic equipment will reduce and prevent injuries, allowing paramedics' careers to be extended to the age of retirement with minimal pain and full mobility. As we all know, there's a lot of paramedics years ago who never made it to retirement because of back injuries. They had to find another career. So here's some equipment that we've all used over the years, how we've progressed. As Doug showed earlier, the 30 stretcher was light, but it was very difficult to lift. Standing side to side to each other and basically shuffling your way to the truck was very difficult. When I started, there were some of them still around, but then we went to the 35A, which was a little more easier to lift in regards to the handles at the front. So you're going back to front to lift, though it still wasn't very user-friendly, and sometimes the truck with the hook on it, we missed the hook and the stretcher would fall down, and sometimes that would create difficulty for the patient too. Then they went to the Ferno P, which had adjustable back end, which made things a little bit easier. It was a little more difficult. I found it was a little heavier stretcher and a little more difficult to move through the snow or in a gravel situation. Now we've progressed to, we have the Ferno power stretcher and we have the Striker. And now we've gone to the power lift system, which our service uses. All of our frontline vehicles are pretty much, are going to be, maybe not as of yet, but will be with the power lift. In regards to stair chairs, the original one was very difficult. It was hard to grab, and sometimes people's feet would land up in your face when you were lifting, and it wasn't very ergonomically for lifting by all means. Then we went to the Striker. It's actually really good. Some of the accessories are not shown on there in regards to an IV clip to hold the IV bag on there, and the head strap and the foot strap. But the Caterpillar system at the back made things a lot easier to lift the patient up and down the stairs. I think that's definitely has reduced MSDs over the years. Then you have the Ferno, the power one. I know we had two in our service we're doing a field study on. I haven't had the opportunity to use it, but those who have, I don't know, I'm not sure how it works. So that's my presentation on equipment and stuff that's used here in Ontario. I'm now going to move on to Section 21. Those that don't know what a Section 21 committee is, it is a subcommittee to the RNs and healthcare. Committee members are present from, we have an MOL facilitator. We have members from the Service Employees International Union, Ontario OPSU. We have Unifor, which is formerly CAW and CUPE members. We also have 4 members from the OAPC, which is the Ontario Association of Police Chiefs. And we have observers from the Ministry of Health and the Public Services Health and Safety Association. Our first meeting was held on May 8th, 2008. And the Section 21 committee meets quarterly and develops guidance notes that are consistent with the Occupational Health and Safety Act and the regulations. These guide notes are created to promote accepted practices in EMS services to encourage the health and safety of paramedics of the province of Ontario. Guidance notes should assist all EMS employers, supervisors, paramedics, support staff, and joint health safety committees in creating and meeting the minimal requirements of the Act. These documents, though are not bounded, may be used by an MLR inspector to determine if every precaution reasonable is in place as required by Section 25, Sub 2H of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. There are currently 5 guidance notes approved by the Minister. Number 1 is application of EMS guidance notes. Number 2 is EMS vehicle occupant safety. Those that were talking, we heard some people talking last night about strapping of paramedics in the vehicle. I recommend everybody have the opportunity to read that one. Reducing diesel exhaust in the EMS stations. EMS worker exposure to hazardous drugs. Traffic safety and worker visibility. Currently, there's 3 guidance notes in the approval stage with the Minister. Motor vehicle advanced technology hazards, hazards associated with marijuana grow operations, infectious prevention and control practices. Guidance notes number 9 and 10 are in the draft process. They are workplace violence and harassment, which is very much has been written in with legislation 132 here in the province that's going to be in effect in September. And we're currently working on MSD prevention. If you wish to review and get copies of the approved guidance notes, please go to the Public Service Health and Safety Association website at www.phssa.ca. The PSHSA has a paramedic survey from the Section 21 Committee to be completed by Friday, June 10th, 2016, which provides valuable feedback and is called Emergency Medical Services Section 21 Subcommittee Survey 2016. If everybody gets a chance, please go on that site and fill it out. So my references are as Google's images and a few other things. Thank you.